Hello everyone, this is Mohammed from Python Ninja YouTube channel, and in this tutorial we will learn together how can we build Python module. The module in Python is a file that contains code we want to include in our current program. So in general, it's a Python code comprises a set of variables and functions we want to import and reuse it again in our new project. The advantages of Python module lie in that they are able to break big projects or long programs into a set of reusable codes or a set of reusable files. We utilize Python module at different tutorials. In this series of tutorials, for example, we consider math as a module. We consider string or type. These are modules we imported and utilize during this series of tutorials. A module is also is included in a file where the keyword or statement import is used to import that module or the file. So also a module can be built in or can be designed by coders. So we will highlight again the built-in modules. Specifically, we will highlight math module and we will design a small module. So in general, a module in Python is a Python file comprises functions we want to import in our current project and we want to reuse these functions. To list all modules that included in Python or in built-in Python environment, you just use this line print help and from this help you want to type in this string modules and just give it time to load all modules that installed when you install the Python at the first time. So we can see that there are many of these modules. Calendar is considered a module, math is considered a module, time it, every of these module, numpy, OS. We use all of these. Speckle is considered a module also to convert file into like a serialized file or binary file. We will highlight later this module. UUID, we use it to generate like a unique code identifier. Okay, and you can like go through these modules, but these are these are all modules that are installed when you install Python. Let us recap the math module. We learned together that we want to use the keyword import to import a module. I want to import math. Okay, or I can import math and I give like a nickname for the math, for example, as M. So instead of using math, for example, print here math, okay, dot exponential of 5, and I will do the same, but instead of using math here, I want to print M dot exponential of 5. So I give here the nickname. Instead of using math, I use the letter M. Okay, I can also do this importing from math. Okay, let us have a new line. I can say from math import exponential function or exp. Okay, then I can also import all functions and or variables from the math module when I follow this from math. Okay, import star. By this way, I import all functions and variables from the math module. But as a useful practice, when you want to import a specific function, then you have to follow this either from math import exponential, for example, or to use like a math.exponential. So I can here, for example, print exp of 5. We will have the same result here also, either to use math.xp or m.exp or exp directly, but a useful practice is to keep the name or letter of the main module, just to be able to follow the function, where that function comes from. Is it built-in or is it come from like a module design before or not? Now let us design our own modules. So when I speak our own module, then we need to have a Python file inside this Python file, we want to like insert a function or two functions or whatever you want. Later, we want to import that file here. Okay, so I go to the same directory where my main.py is. I create a new Python file. Okay, and I will turn it as a script. Okay, goodbye. We have in encrypt.py file, okay, and we encrypt, and I have to refactor the name. Sorry, just like this, because I want to have like two functions, one to encrypt and one to decrypt, or one to encode and other to decode. A string data structure, we had an exercise or example by which we like submit a string or name, then we encode that name, okay, and later we decode the string or the name again. So I want to have a module or a Python file that contains these functions, and I want to import these functions inside my project. So let us recap what we did in that tutorial or in that exercise. The first thing we did, we imported a string as a module, as a built-in module contain the alphabet. So I imported a string here, and I imported random because I wanted to shuffle this string, and I want to identify characters, okay, and these characters I have to remove this, and in these characters it will be a string dot ASCII letters, okay, plus I want to concatenate a string dot punctuations, okay, and I want to concatenate the digits, okay, string dot digits, okay, and I want to concatenate to this string dot space, okay, white space dot white space, and I want to concatenate also the space from the keyboard. When I print this chart, it will be a string representation, okay, that comprise all alphabet and punctuations, okay. So this is the first thing I want to cast this chart characters, okay, is nothing but a list of the same characters, okay, and when I print these characters, it will be now in a form of the list, okay. So these characters are the list. I want to now copy this list of characters, and I want to have keys, okay. The keys are the characters.copy, so I have now a new version, okay, with typical characters and keys, okay, but to make these keys like behave as code, we want to like to fix the seed of the random. So random.seed, we usually use 32 or whatever you want. Then I use random.shuffle. I want to shuffle these keys, okay. Now the key will be shuffled when I print the key. Now it will be shuffled, okay. So I have the top list comprises the alphabet, and the bottom one is comprising the corresponding key. I want also to define two functions. The first one will be encode, and this encode will accept the like input, okay. Let us to say that input user, okay, or whatever the message is, okay. And I want to also define another functions. Both functions encode or decode are or will be imported inside the main.py function as functions of a module. We have encoded message here, and I want to start design the encode and decode function. Inside the decode function, in encode function, I will have encode, okay, as a variable with empty string, and for I in the user input, so I will ask the user to submit input, maybe his name or whatever it is, I want to find the index of each I, so index or IDX is equal I dot the characters, which is this one, this or the first list dot index. Okay, I want to have the index of I. Then I want to update the code variable here with the corresponding code, okay, based on the index. For example, if the letter will be G, I will retrieve the index of that G, the index, for example, suppose it's 6 or 7, then I want to consider the corresponding code. So the code plus will be here, code plus will be here augmented by the keys, but the index. So we use the slice of IDX, okay. So if we have, for example, Ali or Muhammad, then we will loop through this string, and each time we will consider the index of the letter, and we consider that index to have the code itself, okay, or the shuffled characters, okay, and this will does nothing but return to that code. Okay, so this is the encode. Let us now consider the decode, and I will have now decoded message here will be an empty string also, so decoded message, and this is an empty string, and I want to loop for this encoded message, which will be entered to the decode function for I am the encoded message. Then I will also repeat the same. I want to take the index for the key, which will be the keys of index, and this index of I, okay. And now I will update the decoded message of using the augmented assignment operator, okay, by the characters, okay, but the slicing operator will be the index key, and I want to return, okay, the decoded message. So these are two functions, okay, I designed, okay. So this encrypt.by is my Python module. I imported another modules which are strings and random. I have a list of characters here, okay, and I have a list of keys, but I shuffled the key because I want to change the location of the original characters, and I want to use them as key. I have two functions. The first function accepts the input of the user, and the second one will take the output of the encoding and decode this. So if the user will input something, this will be subjected to for loop, and each item of this message will be used to retrieve the index of that item from this list, and based on the index I can retrieve, for example, the corresponding key, okay, and I can update the code. Now I consider the code that is returned from the encode message, and I take this to be input to the decode, and I do the same thing. I loop into that code now, and I retrieve the index, and I repeat the process, because now I loop here in the keys, and I consider the index of the corresponding key, and I update the decoded message based on the corresponding characters, okay, considering the index of the key, okay. For example, if I have in my key this slash, then I update the decoded message with the corresponding value. So I think I completed this Python module. The first thing I need to do is to import, okay. For example, I go back to main.py file here, and I want to import, okay, encrypt like this, okay. Now, or I can do like this, from encrypt, also from this file, okay, which is encrypt, import, okay, encrypt, sorry, on decrypt, no, it's not encrypt, import, encode, and decode, okay. I imported them, okay. Let us back to encrypt. If I will say, okay, for example, variable, if I want to like fix a variable, for example, this is let us say var equal 10, okay, like this. I can import also not only function, but I can also import the variable. For example, I can from encrypt, okay, encrypt, the same thing, import, okay, var, okay, and when I print this var, it will be the 10, okay, that I have imported, okay. Now, I hope everything is clear now. Just we want to move to this main.py and we want to remove this var because will not be used now. So no need to print this character now and no need to print this key. And now I want to take a user input. So from this encrypt module, the encode function will accept user input. So I want to ask the user, for example, this is user input, and this user input is nothing but input. Enter a message to encrypt. Okay, I want to ask the user to enter the message to encrypt. Okay, then what I will do, I will print to that user input. I want to print here. Okay, let us say the encoding. Let us say, for example, encoding is I want to open this folder, and I will say the encoding now is encode, and this is what take the input. So I consider this, okay, as the encoding. Okay, let us execute this. Enter the message to encrypt. I will, for example, say Mohammed, okay, and I will enter. Then the encoding is this. So it encoded my name to this, okay. Or let us just store in a variable. So encoding, okay, is it's encode, and I want to put in this the user input. Let us also, instead of using the exclamation mark, use this colon and make a space. And the decoding is the decode of the encoding, okay. And I want here to print, okay, for example, the encoding is I want to print this encoding, okay, and the same thing I want to print the decoding. Sorry, the decoding is I want to print this decoding variable. Let us take the first thing. We enter the input. I want to enter my name. Then I will press enter. I will see my name has been encoded to this code, then it has been decoded because I use decode to this. So the decode is the inversion of the encode. So we invert this code, and I have now my own name. Okay, and that's applied for our string. So to conclude, a Python module is a Python file. Okay, this file comprises variables or functions or classes. Later we will learn together what I mean of classes. Now, these modules are used to break the long code or the long project or program into like a set of reusable files. Okay. For example, we used together in previous tutorials math. Math is a module, is a Python file, is located within the Python in the built-in environment of the Python. Okay. In this tutorial, we built our own module. We have a new Python file which is encrypt. This encrypt file comprises two functions. The first function will take input. I transfer this input in the main menu. Okay, and in this input, it will do the encoding. The encoding means that it will go for this characters, the string of characters, and it retrieve the index. And we use this index to retrieve the value from another list. And the inversion of the encoding is the decoding. And we imported these two functions to the main file. So this encrypt is a module now, and we imported the functions in the module. The encode function will take input, okay? So this is the encode, will send to this input. Input is taken from this line, and the encoding is nothing but code, and the decoding in the inversion, it will take the encoding itself and will retrieve the name. That's for today's tutorial, and in the next, starting from the next tutorial, we will highlight the object-oriented programming in Python.